Okay, welcome back. Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are discussing the contents of carotid triangle. Okay, what did we study? We studied that carotid sheath and its contents. Okay, that is the most important question as well as the important area in the carotid triangle. Let's have a look at carotid sheath and its contents. First, let us talk about carotid artery. Okay, carotid artery and its branches, whatever we are going to see. This structure is called as common carotid artery. Common, that means it has got again parts in it. So this is the common carotid artery. This common carotid artery at the level of thyroid cartilage, it divides, upper border of thyroid cartilage, it divides into external carotid and internal carotid artery. Okay, internal carotid and external carotid artery. As a rule, common carotid artery and internal carotid artery, they are present inside the carotid sheath, whereas external carotid artery is coming outside the carotid sheath. Okay, it is not present inside the carotid sheath. So this is not the content of carotid sheath. Only internal carotid artery and common carotid artery are the branches, are the area, are the arteries which are present inside the carotid sheath. Okay, and as a rule, common carotid artery and internal carotid artery does not have any branches in the neck region. Okay, there are no branches to common carotid artery. There are no branches to internal carotid artery. Okay, in the neck region only, internal carotid artery goes into the cranial cavity and gives branches inside cranial cavity, but in the neck, internal carotid artery does not give any branches. Now look at the external carotid artery. This is the external carotid artery. External carotid artery, short note question. Okay, external carotid artery is a short note question. You're supposed to write where is the origin, what are its branches. Okay, course of the external carotid. External carotid artery arises from the common carotid artery at the level of upper border of thyroid lamina. Okay, at its where the common carotid artery is splitting into external and internal, there we can see a dilatation. What is this dilatation called as? We can see this very nicely in the dissection hall. This dilatation is called as carotid sinus. What is it called as? Carotid sinus. What does this carotid sinus or this bulge contains? It contains baroreceptors, specialized cells which can detect the changes in the blood. Okay, what changes it will detect? It will detect the change in the pressure in the blood, as well as it by, and also these cells are also called as chemoreceptors. Any chemical changes in the blood can also be detected by the cells. Where are these present? These cells are present in this dilatation, which is called as carotid sinus. Okay, so common carotid artery bulges at the point of division into external and internal carotid. This bulging is called as carotid sinus. Okay, which contains baroreceptors and chemoreceptors for maintenance of blood pressure. Okay, now see here, external carotid artery. Already I told you, common carotid artery doesn't have any branches. Internal carotid artery, as a rule, it does not give any branches in the neck region. Okay, in the neck region, there are no branches to the internal carotid artery. External carotid artery gives 8 branches. How many branches? 8 branches. All of you have to remember these branches. There is no excuse at all. You all have to draw these branches and learn the names of these branches. What are the 8 branches? I'm telling you now, what are the 8 branches? Okay, what are the branches? First branch, here you can see this branch. This is called as superior thyroid artery. Okay, what are the 8 branches? You are supposed to find all these branches in the dissection hall. What branches? Superior thyroid artery. Okay, superior thyroid artery. Second branch, this one is going back to the hyoglossus muscle. See here, this is a submandibular triangle. So it goes behind this hyoglossus muscle and goes to the tongue. So this branch is called as lingual artery. Okay, what is it called as? Lingual. Lingual refers to tongue. Okay, lingual artery. First branch is the superior thyroid. Second branch is the lingual artery. Third is the facial artery. So this is the facial artery which is going to the face. Okay, facial artery. See here, it is making an S-shaped loop around the submandibular gland. So this is the facial artery, third branch. Next, in between, that means I have to pull this external carotid outside, then I can see a branch from here entering into the pharynx, deep into the pharynx. Okay, directly going from the medial aspect of the artery into the pharynx. That is called as ascending pharyngeal artery. It is called as ascending pharyngeal, pharynx. It is going to pharynx, so that is called as ascending pharyngeal artery. I cannot show that here because it is present deep to this artery. Okay, I have to pull this out so that you can see it is going deeper. Okay, ascending pharyngeal artery. Next, see this one. It is going behind the auricle. Posterior auricular. What is it called as? Posterior auricular. Okay, already we studied when we are studying scalp. Posterior auricular artery. And another artery which is going beneath the sternocleidomastoid. To show you this artery, sternocleidomastoid is here. You have to cut the sternocleidomastoid, then only you will see that it is going into the posterior triangle at the upper region and to the scalp. This is the occipital artery. Okay, occipital artery. So total 6 arteries we have studied in the neck. What are the 6 arteries? Once again I am repeating. Superior thyroid, lingual, facial, ascending pharyngeal, which I cannot show you here, occipital, and posterior auricular. Okay, so these are the how many? 6 branches in the neck region. After that, external carotid artery enters into the parotid gland. Okay, here we have parotid gland. So this artery enters into the parotid gland and divides into 2 terminal branches. What are the terminal branches? I hope you all remember this artery. This is the superficial temporal. Yes, excellent. Superficial temporal artery. This is the superficial temporal artery and maxillary artery. Okay, maxillary artery. So these two are the final terminal branches of external carotid. External carotid short note question. All of you have to study that and you have to remember these 8 branches. Once again, I am repeating all these branches. Superior thyroid, lingual, facial, ascending pharyngeal, occipital, posterior auricular. Okay, posterior auricular, 6 branches in the neck. At least in dissection hall, we are supposed to find superior thyroid, lingual, facial, ascending pharyngeal, at least occipital at the origin. Okay, even though it is at the highest end, it is difficult to find out this posterior auricular and occipital, but you can still try them. After that, it enters into the parotid gland. Inside the parotid gland, it divides into two terminal branches. What are the two terminal branches? Superficial temporal and maxillary arteries. Okay, everyone clear with external carotid artery?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, carotid system of arteries we have completed. What did we study in carotid? Common carotid, carotid sinus. Okay. Inside carotid sinus, we have chemoreceptors, baroreceptors. We studied about internal carotid artery and common carotid artery, which remains inside the carotid sheath and does not have any branches in the neck region. External carotid artery comes outside the carotid sheath, gives off 8 branches. Okay. That's about carotid artery. Now look at internal jugular vein. Internal jugular vein is formed above, okay, from the cranial cavity, dural venous sinuses. They all join together and pour blood from the cranial cavity into the internal jugular vein. Internal jugular vein, at least you just need to mention the name internal jugular vein and where it is draining. So you need not worry about how it is formed and the branches, tributaries, you need not write here. So not required. What you have to remember is internal jugular vein is coming out from the cranial cavity through jugular foramen. Okay, how it is coming? Through jugular foramen, and it passes within the carotid sheath adjacent to common carotid and internal carotid arteries, joins with vein of the upper limb. From the hand and upper limb, we have a big vein called as subclavian vein. Okay, subclavian vein. These two join together to form brachiocephalic vein. What is it called as? Brachium refers to the upper limb. Cephalic refers to the head. So, internal jugular vein from the head and the upper limb subclavian both joins together to form brachiocephalic veins. Okay? So, we have two brachiocephalic, right and left brachiocephalic. They both join together to form superior vena cava. Okay, I guess all of you know superior vena cava. It enters into the right atrium of the heart. How that superior vena cava is formed? By joining of two brachiocephalic veins. How that each brachiocephalic vein is formed on the right and left sides? By the joining of internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. Okay, all of you clear with this?
Yes.
Clear, everyone?
Ma'am,
Yes,
can you
ma'am.
please repeat which two veins join the to form the superior vena cava?
Okay, I'm coming from above to down. Okay, we have internal
Okay.
jugular vein here. From the upper limb subclavian vein, you can see the blue color area here. Subclavian vein. These two join together to form brachiocephalic veins. Make your own diagram. Okay, then you or a flow chart. Then it will be easier for you to understand. Internal jugular joins with subclavian vein to form brachiocephalic vein. Okay, brachium refers to the upper limb, cephalic refers to the head region. Okay, so these two join together to form brachiocephalic vein. Two sides brachiocephalic veins join together to form superior vena cava. Okay, superior vena cava. Clear, all of you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. So that is about internal jugular vein. Now, if I separate these two, I can see this nerve. Okay, I hope you all can see this nerve. This is the 10th cranial nerve. What is this nerve? 10th cranial nerve is the vagus. That means in
Vegas.
section hall, I just have to separate these two, keep a forceps in between. I can see this thick vagus nerve, which is the 10th cranial nerve. Okay, 10th cranial nerve. All of you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, before going to the floor, okay, before going in little bit about deeper contents, we will come back to the floor of carotid triangle. These are the muscles forming floor of the carotid triangle. We will discuss this bit later. We'll finish contents and then come to the triangle. We are talking about submandibular triangle here. Don't worry about that. Later we will understand. This is the, just look at the carotid. Common carotid, internal carotid, external carotid, okay, internal jugular vein. This is internal jugular vein, the tributaries. You are looking at all the tributaries. Harsh, don't make all this, don't draw anything. Okay, here we can see all the veins which are draining into the internal jugular vein. Okay, these are along with all the arteries, branches of external carotid are there, right? So they're similar partners, okay, venous partners, they drain into internal jugular vein. Okay. Now, what are the other contents? We had studied about this diagram is important. If you practice this diagram, you can draw for anterior triangle, carotid sheath and its contents. You can draw for external carotid artery and its branches. Okay. So, for so many questions, you can draw this diagram. Okay. First, you just need to draw carotid and its branches, internal jugular vein. In between we have got vagus nerve. Okay, till here I hope you all understood, right? All of you clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In anterior triangle there are four cranial nerves. Four cranial nerves enter into anterior triangle. What are the four cranial nerves? 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 9, 10, 11, 12. What are these? Ninth nerve is the glossopharyngeal nerve. You cannot see this in dissection hall because this particular portion is very deep. Just beneath the cranial cavity, you will see all these nerve fibers coming out. So you cannot find them in dissection hall. What is your role? How much you can see? Only this much portion till the digastric bellies. Above that, it is difficult for you to trace them. Okay. So what you can see? What you can see is this is ninth cranial nerve. Okay, ninth is glossopharyngeal nerve. Right? 10th cranial nerve. 10th is vagus. You can draw the same like this. First artery, vein, then nerves. Four nerves. What are the four nerves? Ninth, glossopharyngeal, going to the tongue. 10th, vagus. Okay. 11th, accessory nerve. Remember accessory nerve, posterior triangle we had studied. Okay. It has got it has got cranial part and the cranial part and spinal part. Okay, spinal part of accessory nerve is going backwards to supply the muscles. Which muscles? Sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. So this is the accessory nerve. Then 12th cranial nerve. 12th cranial nerve is what? Hypoglossal nerve. See here, the hypoglossal nerve separately we will study again. It's a long question for you. Okay, 10-mark question, hypoglossal nerve. It supplies to the muscles of the tongue, hypo, below glossal tongue, hypoglossal nerve, 12th cranial nerve. Okay, till here everyone clear? 4 cranial nerves are coming out. Only look at what diagrams I am showing. Okay, you can draw common carotid artery, carotid sinus, external carotid, internal carotid. External carotid ka branches you are seeing: superior thyroid artery, lingual artery, facial artery, ascending pharyngeal. Okay, look at this: ascending pharyngeal. Then we have occipital artery, posterior auricular artery. Occipital artery is giving sternocleidomastoid branches. Superior and inferior sternocleidomastoid. It supplies to the sternocleidomastoid muscle, occipital artery. Posterior auricular artery. Okay, so these are the branches which we are supposed to find out in the dissection hall. Internal carotid artery, so no branches. Internal jugular vein, all the tributaries of these arteries will go and end up in internal jugular vein. Then 4 cranial nerves. What are the 4 cranial nerves? We have ninth, which is going front anteriorly to the tongue. Okay, this is the glossopharyngeal, ninth nerve. 10th is vagus, between common internal carotid artery on the medial aspect, posterolaterally internal jugular vein. So between these two, we have got vagus nerve. Then 11th cranial nerve, axillary nerve. Axillary nerve gives off cranial branch and the spinal part. Cranial part joins with the vagus nerve. It doesn't go separately. It just jumps into the vagus nerve and runs along with fibers of vagus nerve. Okay, cranial part of axillary nerve. Spinal part of axillary nerve goes behind and supplies sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. In the posterior triangle we had studied. So these are the 4 cranial nerves, and the last one, 12th cranial nerve, is what? The hypoglossal nerve. Okay, this is the hypoglossal nerve, which we will study bit in detail today also. Till here everyone clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You will have to go back and study, otherwise it is difficult to understand. Okay, practice diagrams. Now look at this. We are discussing about hypoglossal nerve. Okay, see here, this is where all the 4 cranial nerves are coming. So your anterior triangle is not just this portion. What you are looking here is only this region. If you trace them, it will go till the base of the skull. Okay. Now look at the hypoglossal nerve, 12th cranial nerve, axillary nerve, 12th cranial nerve. This is the 12th cranial nerve, hypoglossal nerve. Which triangles it is going? Carotid triangle, then enters into the submandibular triangle, runs on the hyoglossus muscle and goes below the tongue and supplies the tongue. Okay, this is the hypoglossal nerve. Now, why it is important for us to study this hypoglossal nerve in anterior triangle or carotid triangle? It is because it gives off this branch. Can you see, all of you see this branch which is going down? This is called as descendens hypoglossi. What is it called as? Descendens. That means it is descending down from the hypoglossal nerve. This is called as descendens hypoglossi. Okay. What this does, this goes back, forms a loop. See here, there is a loop and joins with another branch which is coming from the cervical plexus of spinal nerves. These are all cervical plexus. In last class, I told you what is cervical plexus. C1, C2, C3, C4. They join together. Okay, these are the spinal nerves. Okay, they all join together to form cervical plexus. So from C1, we get 2 branches. They join together to form descendens cervicalis. What is this called as? Descendens cervicalis. Descendens hypoglossi and descendens cervicalis. So these two together form a loop. Okay, U-shaped loop. See here, this loop is called as ansa cervicalis. Ansa means loop, cervicalis in the neck region. What is this called as? Ansa cervicalis. Here is the spelling, you can see that ansa cervicalis. Okay, where is this? This is a short note question. Guys, you will have to draw this. It's a short note question, ansa cervicalis. Okay, formation. From the hypoglossal nerve, we get descendants hypoglossi. From the cervical plexus, we get descendants cervicalis. Both join together to form a U-shaped loop called as ansa cervicalis. Okay, what is the function of this? And where is it situated? Where is it situated? It is situated on the carotid sheath. Okay, on the anterior wall of the carotid sheath. So what I have to do, if I have to go inside and look at these blood vessels, carotid artery and internal jugular vein, I have to clean out all the carotid sheath. But within that wall, I have this ansa cervicalis loop. So you are supposed to be careful when you are dissecting. You have to take care that you can clearly clean out the ansa cervicalis, preserve that, and then remove the carotid sheath so that you can see the structures, that is internal jugular vein and the carotid arteries. Okay, so that's the location of ansa cervicalis. Now, what does it do? What is its function? It gives branches which supplies the strap muscles of the neck. Okay, what are the strap muscles? Sternohyoid, sternothyroid, okay, thyrohyoid. It also supplies superior belly and inferior belly of omohyoid. So from the loop itself, we get these branches and supply all strap muscles of the neck. Okay, clear all of you? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not easy. It's not easy at first time when you are listening to it. So you have to go back, give a reading, ansa cervicalis. You will have to study in detail. Next is carotid sheath. Now I am coming back to carotid sheath. Carotid sheath is also a short note question. In carotid sheath, you will study it is formed by the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, which splits into pretracheal and prevertebral layers, right? Remember that there are three layers. Deep cervical fascia of the neck divides into three layers: investing layer, pretracheal, prevertebral layer. So pretracheal layer forms the anterior wall of carotid sheath and prevertebral layer forms the posterior wall of carotid sheath. Okay. So you will get a cut section of carotid sheath diagram. You are supposed to draw that carotid sheath. Okay. So carotid sheath formation, and you will have to write what are the contents in anterior wall. In anterior wall, you will have to write about ansa cervicalis. Okay, how is it formed? What are the fibers in it? Which muscles it is supplying? Okay, then comes the contents of carotid sheath. Common carotid artery, internal jugular vein, internal carotid artery. Okay, these are the contents of carotid sheath. Till here, I hope everyone are clear with this. You go back and read, you will not understand one time. You will have to read them in detail. Okay, and then come back to me with questions. Okay, till here everyone are clear?
Yes.
So what are the contents of carotid sheath? What are the contents of carotid triangle? Carotid triangle boundaries. Contents are carotid sheath and its contents, ansa cervicalis, four cranial nerves, These all come under contents of carotid triangle. Lift all this. Okay, all the carotid sheath and its contents, you just keep your forceps beneath them and pull it up. Don't cut them, just lift them up. Then you will see behind the posterior wall of carotid sheath the cervical sympathetic chain. Okay, what is cervical sympathetic chain? I will explain to you a bit later. Okay, in the coming few classes when we are discussing about cervical plexus, I will also teach you about sympathetic chain. So you will have to find all the structures in the dissection. Okay. Now, if you remove off all these structures, you will find the floor of the anterior triangle. Already I told you what is. Yes. So remove all that structures, then you will find the floor of the anterior triangle or carotid triangle, especially carotid triangle. Okay, floor means some muscles which form the floor for these contents. What structures form the floor? Inferior constrictor muscle, middle constrictor, and superior constrictor muscle. These constrictors are what? These are the muscles of the pharynx. Okay, these structures forms the floor of the carotid triangle as well as muscular triangle. Okay, so I hope you understood about anterior triangle in detail. Please go back, have a reading, read each and every triangle in detail. Submandibular triangle, we will discuss in the submandibular region about, about submandibular gland and all other contents over here. Later on we will discuss. But the rest of that, at least carotid triangle, submental triangle and muscular triangle, along with little bit boundaries and contents of submandibular, that you will have to study. Okay, now homework. What is homework? You will have to write carotid triangle in detail. It's a 10-mark question. Write carotid triangle in detail, boundaries, contents. Okay, you'll have to write boundaries and contents of carotid triangle with neat labeled diagrams. Okay, so that's your 10-mark question. What are the short note questions you'll have to write? Carotid sheath, where you will have to write about ansa cervicalis as well. Okay, carotid sheath and external carotid artery and its branches. So I hope all of you have noted it down. So this is your homework. You are supposed to write this as a short note question and long question along with neat label diagrams. You are supposed to submit. The link I will forward right now in the Google Classroom. Okay. I found that only few of you has submitted your previous uh, homeworks. People who did not submit, make sure you submit within a day or two. After 2 days, I'm closing previous homework sections. Okay, all this will be counted as day-to-day assessment for you people. Okay, you'll have to write and upload. Any questions? Okay then. So with this, we finish our anterior triangle chapter. Go back and read. You will find out that whatever I have taught is very less. There is so much to study. You come up with all the questions we can discuss in the dissection hall. Okay. No questions? Okay. Sakshi, please send me the attendance for the 2 sessions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay then. Have a nice day. I'll take your leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.